Hey y'all. Okay, so I am gonna do your lesson today, but before I talk to you about your lesson, I wanted to address the grade book. The grade book is open. We are entering grades, so everything that I've kept on my paper copy is going into the grade book. They also addressed attendance. They are telling us to still keep that, so you've got to show up every day. Now, here's how some of you had me tricked. You were coming and doing your attendance question, and I just assumed you were doing your schoolwork. Well, come to find out, you were not doing your schoolwork. You were just doing the attendance question. So, I am going to start calling home. If I haven't heard from you, schoolwork-wise, like just doing your attendance question is not enough. So if I don't have contact with you like today, then I need to call your parents. Okay? So do not be mad at me. I am on this video telling you, you know you're supposed to be doing your schoolwork. Okay? So that's enough about that. Alright. Now, let's do today's lesson. So this is April the 8th. This work will be due April the 10th. Okay? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the surface area of the pyramid. Now, remember the pyramids can have different bases. Squares, triangles, rectangles, pentagons, hexagons, whatever it is. Okay? The one thing that we're going to need to know is the lateral area. Now, I didn't really discuss that with you last class period, but lateral area means the sides only. So, like if we're talking about the surface area of this can, the lateral area is going to, again, be what's around the can, not including the bases. Okay? So, if we're looking for the lateral area of this pyramid, I'm not looking for that square base. I'm just looking for all of the triangles that make that up. Then you add the base to that. So you can see on the surface area, it's not 2b this time, it's only b. And the reason for that is this doesn't have two bases, it just has one. That big B stands for the area of the base. This L is new. It is the slant height, which just means the height that's on that side. For example, 11.7 is the slant height. And then P still stands for perimeter. Okay? Alright, so let's just go for it. If we look at the first one and we look at what we need the little L. Okay, that's 11.7. We need the perimeter. The perimeter is going to be all of the sides of your base. This is my base. They're all 8. This is a square. So 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 equals 32. Obviously, you don't have to do it that way. I'm just showing you that's the perimeter. Then I am going to find the surface area. The surface area is half 11.7 times the perimeter, which is 32, plus the area of the base. The area of the base is a square. To find the square, you're going to take side square, which is side squared, which is 8 squared. Okay, so if I do this math, I'm going to have alpha y equals enter 1/2 times 11.7 times 32. That gives me 187.2 plus 64. That gives me 251.2 meters squared. Again, we are dealing with area, so squared. Okay, I'm not doing number 2. It's exactly the same thing. You're just doing, instead of 8, 5, and instead of 11.7, 7.4. Everything's the same with number 2. Number 3, though, they give you the height of the triangle, the pyramid, they don't give you the slant height. So we're going to have to find that. Well, this is a 90-degree angle, so you know that's running up and down. We're going to let this be one of the legs of a triangle. So I'm going to extend to this side and then have my slant height running through the middle of that. So you can kind of see that triangle that I have just really taken a slice out of the inside of that pyramid. Okay, I know that this is going to be half of 16, so that's going to be 8. So I have the legs of a right triangle. I'm looking for the hypotenuse, which will be the slant height, my L. So I've got 3 squared plus 8 squared equals my hypotenuse squared, or my x squared. So 3 squared is 9, plus 8 squared is 64. Together that gives me 73. I'm going to take the square root of 73. That gives me 8.54 approximately. That is our slant height right there, which is also going to be our L. Okay, now we need the perimeter. Again, you have 16, so I'm just going to, this time I'm going to multiply 16 times 4 to save myself a little bit of trouble. That equals 64. That's the perimeter. The area of the base, big B. Big B is a square, so it's going to be 16 squared. 16 squared is 256. Okay, I've got all my pieces. I just plug it in. The surface area is going to be 1/2 L, which is 8.54, times P, which is 64, plus 256. Okay, so I plug that in my calculator. Y'all, my brain is not working. I'm tired. Okay, so 1/2 8.54 times 64 plus 256. That equals 529.28 feet squared. Okay? All right, if we look at this next one, number 4, this one is a unique situation. It doesn't have the height running through the middle like this one, but it does have our side measurements. If you look at this one's the first one that has a triangular base. So the base of this one is a triangle. So that's going to change how we find our big B, because instead of just doing the rectangle or the square, we're going to be dealing with a triangle. Okay, so we still need our lateral height, which is 6.7. You see that? 6.7. We are going to want to find the perimeter. Our base is 10, 10, 10. So 10 plus 10 plus 10 is 30. Now, to find big B, that's the area of a triangle. So that's 1/2 little b times height. Okay? So you can see they have going from that vertex down here, cutting that in half with a right angle. So this is going to represent the height of our base, which is 8.7. So since this is the height, 10 is the base. So 1/2 the little b, which is 10, times the height, which is 8.7. That's how you're going to get big B. So 1/2 times 10 times 8.7 is 43.5. That's big B. Then you plug it in. I'm going to just show you the key so we can move quickly. Okay, same thing with this one, exactly the same. I'll show you the key. Now, this one, this grayed in area, they have told you that is big B. They give you the slant height. The slant height is 11.3. The only thing that you have to find is the perimeter. Well, this side is 6, and you can see the little tick marks. that represents that all of the sides are congruent. There are 6 sides right here, so 6 times 6 is 36. That's the perimeter. Your big B is 93.53. Then you just plug all your pieces in. Okay? Let's look at the cone. If we look at a cone, you still have to find the lateral area. Again, that's just the sides of the cone, not the base. Okay? And then the surface area obviously includes the base and the sides. So you have your lateral area, which is pi r L. L is still that slant height. And then you have pi r squared, which is the area of a circle, which is your base. Okay, so you just plug in your pieces for the surface area. We're going to have pi times the radius, which is 7 squared, plus pi times the radius, which is 7, times 11.4. Literally plug it in your calculator, do the work. The only thing that's hard on this one is you have to take 27, divide by 2. That gives you 13.5. So your radius is 13.5. Your lateral height is 32.9. Plug it in. For this one, you are missing your radius. They do not tell you your radius, but you can, again, take out just a slice of that and create a right triangle. This is a leg. This is the hypotenuse. So you've got 25.2 squared plus your unknown squared equals 27.3 squared. So I'm going to subtract 25.2 squared. X squared equals 27.3 squared minus 25.2 squared. You can see I'm just plugging that in my calculator. That's going to give me 110.25, and then I'm going to take the square root, of that answer, which gives me 10.5. So that means my radius is 10.5, and then you go for it. You plug everybody in. Radius is 10.5. The L is 27.3. Okay? Now, applications. Okay? On your applications, this one says if the cone has a surface area of 822, this is your surface area, and it has a diameter of 18. Well, we don't need the diameter, we need the radius. So the radius is going to be 9, which is half of 18. Then what is the slant height of the cone? Okay? You literally just plug in what you know. I've said literally a lot, like, I guess it's because I got my makeup on, I'm feeling fancy. So, pi times 9 squared plus pi times 9 times L equals 822.78. So, this would be pi times 81, which is 254.469 plus pi times 9L. So I'm going to subtract this. So 822.78 minus 254.469, that gives me 568.31 equals pi 9L. I'm going to divide by pi times 9, pi times 9. And so when I type this in here, I'm going to just put divided by pi times 9, or just pi 9. And it does it for me. So the lateral height is going to be, that can't be right. What did I mess up? Hold on, y'all. You got it. You can't do it this way. So, or maybe I did the wrong thing. Oh no, I did it. It's the first one. I just did it twice. It's this one. I was like, 4,000 is way too much. That's still too much. What's happening? this number's right. 568.31 divided by, I know what it is. My calculator's following the order of operations. So I have to do 568.31 divided by parentheses pi times 9. There it is. So 20.1. Okay, and that would be just centimeters. That's the lateral length, so it's not squared, y'all. That's not the area. Okay, sorry I messed that up. When you type this in your calculator, you have to put it in parentheses, or you could just do the math. You could just go ahead and multiply 3.14 times 9. You guys are blowing me up right now over here trying to turn in your late work that you should have already submitted. Okay, all right, so there is that. For this one, you're looking for the surface area. I might put my phone on silent. You're looking for the surface area of the figure below. So you've got two figures together. You need to see it as two separate things. The first one is a cone, which is what we've learned about in this, and then the next one is a cylinder, which you learned about last lesson. So for number 1, that is a cone. And look, we only have to find the bottom of that one time, you guys, because you're not going to count. Actually, we don't even count that at all, do we? We just need the lateral of this one. And then instead of having 2 bases, this will just have 1. That was tricky. So we just need the lateral area of the cone. Okay? So for the lateral area of the cone, you are going to only have to have pi RL. Pi is just pi. Sorry, pi is just pi. The radius of this is going to be half of 37. Half of 37 is 17 times L, which is 20. That's going to be the cone part, but not that bottom, not the base, because we're not including the base. It's inside the figure, okay? Lateral surface area is only the outsides. So that cone is covered up. This base here is covered up, so I'm not including the base. Okay, so pi times 17 times 20, that's going to give me 1068.14. Okay, that is squared because it's area, even though it's lateral area. And then for number 2, we're going to be looking for a cylinder, but we are only going to be using the base one time instead of twice. Now, for a cylinder, the formula that we learned is here. We're looking for 2 pi RH and then 2 pi RH. This is the lateral. So we're wanting all of the lateral, but we don't need 2 bases. We just need 1 because we only want the bottom of this. We just need this base, not this one, because it's inside the figure. So my formula is going to be pi RH, that's the area of the bottom circle, plus 2 pi RH. That's the lateral area of the cylinder. So pi R is still 17, plus 2 pi R is 17. The height is 12. I'm going to plug that in my calculator. Pi 17 squared plus 2 pi 17, 12. Okay, I just typed in the whole thing into my calculator. That gives me 2,189.69, and then I take these two things and add them together. That gives me 3,257.83 meters squared. Okay, and then number 12 down here, it says the roof on the shed is a square base. So we're talking about a roof of a shed. It's got a square base. If the base has a side length of 10 and a slant height of 9.8, find the area of the roof. So we're just looking for the area of the roof. So again, like this one, we are not going to include the rectangular base. We're just going to be including, that's a horrible image, but we're just going to be including the 4 sides of the house's roof, not the base. So no base. So that's the lateral area of a square pyramid. Well, you go back here. The lateral is just going to be 1/2 L times P. So 1/2, 9.4 is your slant height. That's your L. If our side length is 10, that means the perimeter is going to be 40. Do the math. That's your answer. Okay, so let me show you guys the key for the ones that I skipped. Copy down what you need. Take a screenshot. That's that final answer, 188 feet squared. Okay, my dears, if you need anything, if you have questions, let me know. This is due Thursday. So Thursday I won't be posting anything new. I will be checking in with you. So even if you turn this in on Wednesday, you need to come and do the attendance question. I hope that you guys have an amazing Easter with your families. I know this will be a strange one for sure, but make the best of it. And like I said in my attendance question yesterday, love on the people that love you and do your best to spread kindness and radiate positivity. I love you guys, and I will hopefully see you soon.